My channel. This is True Crime and Makeup, and today is Monday. So let's get started. As always, trigger warning, graphic warning, content warning, whatever you want to call it. We talk about some pretty gruesome shiz up in here. Todd Christopher Kohlhepp is an American sex offender and serial killer convicted of murdering 7 people in South Carolina between 2003 and 2016. In addition, Kohlhepp kidnapped at least one woman, raped another, and claims to have killed many more. Todd Kohlhepp was born on March 7, 1971 in Florida and was raised in South Carolina and Georgia. His parents divorced when he was 2 years old. His mother gained custody and married another man the following year. Later psychological reports found that Kohlhepp had an unhealthy relationship with his stepfather and often wanted to live with his biological father, whom he had not seen in 8 years. Kohlhepp was described as a troublesome child in nursery school. He was known to be aggressive toward other children and would destroy their property. At the age of 9, when he started undergoing counseling, Kohlhepp was described as being explosive and preoccupied with sexual content. He also displayed cruelty to animals, shooting a dog with a BB gun and killing a goldfish using Clorox bleach. Kohlhepp's father later said the only emotion his son was capable of was anger and madness. Kohlhepp spent 3.5 months in a Georgia psychiatric hospital as an inpatient because of his inability to get along with other children. Eventually, in 1983, Kohlhepp was sent to live with his biological father in Arizona after his mother and stepfather separated. He took his father's surname and began working a number of local jobs. He also inherited his father's hobby of collecting weapons and was taught by him to blow things up and make bombs. Despite this, their relationship deteriorated due to his father's absence with a number of girlfriends, and Kohlhepp repeatedly expressed a desire to return to his mother, although she reportedly made excuses to extend his stay. So, pretty much off the bat, this dude had a bad childhood. Mom wasn't present, dad wasn't present, nobody really seemed to care about him. And I'm not saying that as an excuse for what he did, because it's definitely not an excuse, but it just seems like right off the bat we had problems because children can tell when they're not wanted, and if they feel that they're not wanted, then things can get out of hand very fast. And they do things to get attention, whether those things are good or bad, and that's where we're at. In November 25th, 1986, 15-year-old Kohlhepp kidnapped 14-year-old Christy Granado in Tempe, Arizona. He threatened her with a .22 caliber revolver, brought her back to his home, tied her up, taped her mouth shut, and raped her. Afterwards, he walked her home and threatened to kill her entire family if she told anyone about what happened. Kohlhepp was charged with kidnapping, sexual assault, and committing a dangerous crime against children. In 1987, he pleaded guilty to the kidnapping charge. And the other charges were dropped. He was sentenced to 15 years in prison and registered as a sex offender. According to court records, Kohlhepp was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder and was noted as having an above average IQ of 118. The judge in the case said Kohlhepp was very bright and should be advanced academically, but behaviorally and emotionally dangerous. Well, at least they didn't lie. I mean, hey, dude's really smart, but he's got some emotional and mental problems that make him a little dangerous. Kohlhepp's probation officer wrote a similar description in court papers and added that Kohlhepp felt the world owed him something. It sounds like every person ever. I think we've all felt at some point that all the shit we've been through in our lives, that somebody owes us something for that. And it's obviously not true, and we're mentally capable of understanding that that is not the case, and nothing is ever going to be handed to us, and we have to work for everything we have and whatnot. We get that. He, however, felt very differently. Um, Kohlhepp's attorney in that case later went on to say that while defending him, he did not believe his client would go on to harm others in the future. During his imprisonment, Kohlhepp's during his imprisonment, Kohlhepp was initially cited for violations that included some violent behavior after turning 20. However, he had no other record of disobedience. She's gonna kill me. Okay. In August 2001, Kohlhepp was released from prison after serving 14 years and moved to South Carolina, where his mother was living. During his imprisonment, he attended and graduated from Central Arizona College with a bachelor's degree in computer science. From January 2002 to November 2003, he worked as a graphic designer for a company in Spartanburg. He began studying at Greenville Technical College in 2003, and Kohlhepp transferred to the University of South Carolina upstate the following year and graduated in 2008 with a Bachelor of Science degree in Business Administration Marketing. Despite being registered as a sex offender, Kohlhepp was able to get a real estate license on June 30th, 2006, after lying about the felony charge on his application. From this, he built a firm that it had a dozen agents and its employee. He had been recognized as a top-selling agent in the Carolina region. The firm was closed down following his arrest. Kohlhepp acquired a private pilot license and several properties out of state. In May 2014, he purchased nearly 400 acres of land located in a area 9 miles from the community of Moore for $305,632. He then set a fence, which cost $80,000, around the property. A customer who sold her home to Kohlhepp remembered him as extremely outgoing and professional, but noted that he would often talk about his firearms and sometimes subtly use sexual innuendo during their conversations. Conversely, a woman who assisted one of Kohlhepp's employees described him as angry and condescending towards her partner. A banker who worked with Kohlhepp said that he often watched pornographic videos, even at work. Kohlhepp frequented a Waffle House restaurant in Roebuck where his behavior disturbed the waitresses to the point where the male cook began to take Kohlhepp's orders for them. Like, bro, now you got the men involved. According to his employee, one of the waitresses was Megan Lee McCraw Coxey, one of Kohlhepp's victims. On November 6, 2003, a customer found 4 people shot dead inside Superbike Motorsports, a motorcycle shop in Chesney. The victims were identified as owner Scott Ponder, 30, service manager Brian Lucas, 29, mechanic Chris Sherbert, 26, and bookkeeper Beverly Guy, 52, who was Ponder's mother. All four died from multiple gunshot wounds. Before Kohlhepp confessed to the shootings in 2016, investigators believe that the gunman, armed with a pistol, entered the shop from the back and killed Sherbert as he worked. He then killed Guy in the middle of the showroom, Lucas at the main doorway, and Ponder in the parking lot. According to Ponder's wife, Kohlhepp was a disgruntled customer who had been in the shop several times. According to Kohlhepp's mother, he attempted to return a motorcycle there, but the employees laughed at him, would not return the money he had paid for the motorcycle, and embarrassed him for not knowing how to ride one properly. That's why I always say be cautiously kind to others, because, like, not that it's an excuse, but, like, you never know who you're, like, dealing with. And that's why I'm always big on, like, be kind to people, because you just never know. And that one slight could be, like, super dangerous. So, like, just be nice to people. It's not that hard. On August 31st, 2016, Kayla Brown, 30, and her boyfriend Charles David Carver, 32, went missing after they went to remove brush from one of Kohlhepp's properties. Carver was later found dead of multiple gunshots on the property. Interest in the disappearance of Brown and Carver increased as a result of posts on Carver's Facebook account following their disappearance, the unusual nature of which prompted speculation that another party had taken control of his Facebook account. On November 3rd, authorities found Brown chained to the wall inside a metal storage container on the property. Investigators had tracked her down after tracing the couple's last known cell phone signals, after which they heard banging noises coming from inside the container. A search of Kohlhepp's property recovered Carver's vehicle, which was found in a ravine covered in brush. According to Brown, she witnessed Carver being shot by Kohlhepp. Kohlhepp's mother claimed Carver was killed for having a really smart mouth, which Kohlhepp did not like. He also said he kept Brown captive because she did not do anything wrong and that he did not want to hurt her. However, Brown stated to police just after her rescue that Kohlhepp had killed Carver because Kohlhepp was, quote, mad at her, end quote. During her captivity, Brown was raped repeatedly and intimidated into not escaping after having been shown the graves of Kohlhepp's other victims. I mean, I'd probably be intimidated by that too. This is what's going to happen if you run away. Like, yeah, that would intimidate anybody. Two bodies were discovered on Kohlhepp's property following his arrest on November 6th and 7th. They were later identified as husband and wife Johnny Joe Coxey, 29, and Megan Lee McCraw Coxey, 26, residents of Spartanburg, who were reported missing on December 22nd of 2015. They were allegedly hired by Kohlhepp to work on his property. McGraw and Coxey had been killed a week earlier by a gunshot wound to the torso. According to the county coroner, they were identified through their extensive tattoos. That's why I say tattoos are always like good, because they're very unique and they're very much individualistic. So having tattoos to some people is like disgusting, and I get that. But in some cases, like, it can be a lifesaver. Jeffrey Dahmer said he wouldn't kill people and eat people that had tattoos because the ink tasted funny. So, saved you from a cannibal. Just so you know. Alright, give me just a second, guys. What's the matter? Okay. So, known victims. Christy Granado survived. Female, 14. She was kidnapped on November 12th, 1986. Scott Ponder, male, 30, November 6th, 2003. Brian Lucas, male, 29, November 6th, 2003. Chris Sherbert, male, 26, November 6th, 2003. Beverly Guy, female, 52, November 6th, 2003. Johnny Joe Coxey, male, 29, December 19th, 2015. Megan Lee McCraw Coxey, female, 26, December 25th or 26. Megan Lee McCraw Coxey, female, 26, December 25th or 26th, 2015. Kayla Brown survived, female, 30, August 31st, 2016. Charles David Carver, male, 32, August 31st, 2016. Kohlhepp was arrested shortly after Brown's rescue. He later confessed to the Chesney shootings and the murders of the Coxeys in exchange for allowing him to talk to his mother, give her a photograph, and transfer money to the college fund of a friend's child. While meeting with his mother, he reportedly confessed to the killings and kidnappings. So, like, I don't know if the goal of, like, talking to his mom was, like, the standard of, I'll only confess if I can confess to my mother, because, like, maybe he had resentment towards his mother. I don't know what that was. But in the process of talking to her, he did, in fact, confess. Kohlhepp revealed details of the killings. When he confessed to the Chesney shootings, Kohlhepp revealed details of the killings that were never released to the public. A search of Kohlhepp's property also uncovered numerous weapons, including 9mm pistols outfitted with suppressors, semi-automatic rifles, and an undetermined amount of ammunition. Because there was no record of a background check under Kohlhepp's name, investigators, because there was no record of a background check under Kohlhepp's name for the purchase of a firearm, investigators believe he likely acquired the weapons illegally. Which, let's be real, in the South, this would not be difficult to do. Or really anywhere that there's, like, country land, you would not have a hard time finding someone selling a firearm. That is not going to require that you do all of the, like, background check and stuff, because I have family in Kansas, and, like, their theory is the government needs to stay out of their business. And I believe that having background checks for guns is very important. But I also am realistic, and I know that requiring a background check is not going to stop a criminal from getting a weapon. It's not going to happen. There are ways to find and get firearms that do not require legal government channels. And that is the sad reality. So while I think current gun laws should be enforced, I don't think adding more of them is in any way, shape, or form going to stop people that really want a firearm from getting one, whether they go through the legal channels or they go through the illegal channels. Because the reality is, I could walk up to a vendor on a street corner and buy a gun, and they're not going to ask any questions. And that's not good, obviously. I mean, there should be definitely stronger, I guess, gun enforcement, but I'm just realistic here, and I don't think it's going to change the fact that there are ways to get your hands on weapons without going through all the legal channels. And taking away people's guns isn't going to fix that, because, again, like I said, they'll just find another way to get it. And especially if you go to the resort of taking away, like, firearms, people are just going to go underground to get them. They're going to go on the black market, so you're not really saving anything. You're not protecting anybody. You're just making it a whole lot easier for the people that you don't want to have guns to get guns, because now people are going to be selling them black market, and there's not going to be any record, and there's not going to be any paperwork, because they're not supposed to have them. So nobody's going to be doing shit the legal way, So I'm just saying, I don't think that theory is going to work. A search of Kohlhepp's property, shortly following Kohlhepp's arrest, authorities in Spartanburg County discovered a number of seemingly joking product reviews for various items such as padlocks, shovels, tasers, and gun accessories on a retail website, Amazon.com, written by a user known simply as me. One review about a padlock stated, "Solid locks, have 5 on a shipping container. Won't stop them, but sure will slow them down till they are too old to care." Another, written for a folding shovel, read, "Keep in car for when you have to hide the bodies and you left the full-size shovel at home. Does not come with a midget, which would have been nice." The reviewer's wish list page was listed as Ted Kohlhepp. Following his arrest, Kohlhepp claimed to his mother that there were many other... Hold on. That there were many other victims aside from the aforementioned. When his mother asked how many, his response was, "You do not have enough fingers." During interrogation, he claimed to have shot a victim in Arizona on November 18th, 2016. It was reported that the Tempe Police Department had begun an investigation into Kohlhepp's claim, searching through unsolved homicides in the past 3 decades. They said they would focus on cases dated from 1983 to 1986, while Kohlhepp was living with his father, and also between August 31st, and also between August 2001, when Kohlhepp completed his sentence for kidnapping, and November 2021, when he moved back to South Carolina. On November 25th, 2016, police in Greer, South Carolina, announced that they had named Kohlhepp as a person of interest in an unsolved 2003 bank robbery and triple homicide at the local Blue Ridge Savings Bank. This crime was separated from the Chesney shootings by 6 months. However, as of May 16th, 2018, no definitive link between Kohlhepp and the killings was established, and Kohlhepp was denied any involvement in the case. In December 2017, Kohlhepp wrote to the Spartanburg Herald-Journal, claiming that he had more victims who had not been discovered. Kohlhepp was charged with 4 counts of murder in relation to the Chesney shootings and 1 count of kidnapping in relation to Brown's abduction. He was later charged with 3 additional counts of murder for the murders of Carver and the Coxeys, along with 1 additional count of kidnapping and 3 counts of possession of a weapon during the commission of a violent crime. Kohlhepp's next court appearance was scheduled for January 19, 2017, where Kohlhepp's attorney waived their right to appearance. According to a report by WLXTX, relatives of the Chesney shooting victims filed a wrongful death lawsuit against him. On December 1st, it was announced that Brown also filed a civil lawsuit against him. On May 26, 2017, Kohlhepp pleaded guilty to 7 counts of murder, 2 counts of kidnapping, and 1 count of criminal sexual assault, and was sentenced to 7 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole and a plea bargain that spared him from capital punishment. Although his defense swore at his sentencing that there were no other victims to be found, Kohlhepp has since repeatedly admitted that there were at least 2 other murders. As of August 2018, he had not given authorities the details. Kohlhepp is currently in prison in the Levers Correctional Institution. In August 2020, some of Kohlhepp's belongings went to auction and the proceeds were donated to the victim's family. Dustin Lawson, a man accused of buying firearms and silencers for Kohlhepp despite knowing he was a convicted felon, faced federal charges. Lawson admitted to buying at least 12 guns and 5 silencers from 2012 to 2016, lying that they were for himself. In 2018, he pleaded guilty to 36 federal firearm charges and was sentenced to 8 years and 3 months in prison. Lawson is serving his sentence at Butner Medium IFCI and is scheduled for release on November 12th, 2024. Almost exactly a year from now. That is the story of Todd Kohlhepp. As always, be cautiously kind to others. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, and make good choices. And I will see you all not next month. Next Monday is my skip week, so it'll be the beginning of December is when I will be back. Thanks for hanging out with me. Bye, guys.